we spoke then or just before about like you kind of got these multiple opinions coming back to you, and some of them will be like really exactly what you need to hear, and then other times they'll be slightly off what you need to hear, or like not quite what you jive with. But there's a point in every decision where you pursue your potential, where you've got to back yourself. You've got to trust yourself. Like self-trust is this key. Have you ever struggled with that kind of like, am I going to be good enough? Will I be able to execute this?
Well, I mean, I think something that any athlete listening, and this could be a good sound bite for your audience who's interested in going to semifinals or whatever, is this idea of earned confidence. I think is incredibly important, and it's kind of what you're talking about. Earned confidence, this idea that no one owes you anything and that you earned the right to be wherever you're at. And when you really believe truly in your heart, in your soul, that you earned the confidence to feel good going into a semifinal or going into an event, there's something very powerful about that because, you know, there's earned and there's perceived confidence. And I think that this idea of perceived, like I could tell myself tomorrow, I'm going to go do, I don't know, Mount Everest, right? But I haven't earned the right. I haven't put in the training hours. I haven't put in the hard work. I haven't understood the task to really feel like I earned the right to go in there and dominate. And when athletes are preparing for a task, the more they could truly feel that they earned it, the better off they're going to perform. It's non-negotiable. And so a good thing to think about is every day, every training session, have micro earned opportunities, right? So at the end of the day, hey, did I do the best I could to put myself in a position to win the CrossFit Games? If that was the goal. If every day you tell yourself that, then by the time you get there, you've already earned it for days, weeks, years prior, and the work's done.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to think of it.
Yeah, there's the competence equals confidence equation
Yeah,
is another way of putting that. There's one thing I want to like maybe hash out or push back on a little bit, and it's the
sure.
idea of like perception is an individual thing, right? So what if we perceive that we are less capable than we actually are, because that's a huge problem that people run into. Like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to be here, looking around having a bit of imposter syndrome for the first time on a big stage, for example. Like, man, like, am I good enough? Like, is this where I should be? Like, I'm recognizing all these names around me and like, I'm not good enough to be here.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So where I'm going with it is that, for example, let's just use CrossFit as an example. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, when I would get ready every year for the CrossFit Games, I mean, I competed in the CrossFit Games 8 times, and every year I was, a favorite to perform well because of my years prior, right? And but it doesn't matter what outside people think. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks except for me. I have to be confident in my abilities. So I would wear a wristband that said earn. And I'd be sitting on the bus with a bunch of dudes. I'd be like, no one gave me shit. I earned the right to be here, just like all of your athletes did through the open, the semifinals, whatever else they're at. And that, I think, is this perspective that allows you to thrive because you are on the exact same page with every other athlete there at that given moment because none of them were given it either. And I think that's like this idea, if you feel like an imposter, you need to get that out of your head because no one just gave you that right to be there. You had to earn it. And just like every other person there, that was the key for me, because it was a
Yeah.
level playing field.
So all those are examples like putting the mental reps in, like in that process, saying, I deserve to be here. I did this. I did that. I did like that. Those are the rewiring of those pathways in your brain. Those are the kind of step by step. Those are the reps. Those are like the myelination that's happening.
Yeah.
And that's the essential thing that I think so many athletes and so many people in general, like fail to carry out. We spend so much time counting our scars and not enough time counting our wins.
Well, and that could be done on a micro scale. I think is very,
Mhm.
very important because all of a sudden people say, "Hey, my goal is to go to the games." Okay, cool. Well, you know, if the goal is to go to or take whatever goal it is, right? Every day is a really easy opportunity to do a micro check-in because then those compound and you don't have any regrets, right? Where you say, "Oh shit, you know, I missed a month of training." Well, you know, now have you really earned it? I mean, probably not, right? So every day, every session, every time you have an opportunity to improve yourself, if you ask yourself that, by the time the actual event comes up, you have so many check marks that you've put. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
you're all good to go. And how you perform is how you perform.
Yeah. And you could almost do exactly the same training program, exactly the same execution. But if you're reinforcing to yourself along the way, if you're putting ticks in those in that win column over and over again, you have that bank of confidence and self-assurance, self-trust to like kind of draw from.
Yeah, and to ultimately go out there and go reach your potential in the actual event. You know, it's important. Let's just say, for example, you've been putting check marks on your, I don't know, clean and jerk. Well, when the
Mhm.
event comes up and it's a clean and jerk ladder, or you only have 3 attempts or whatever it is, you have to go back into that bank where you say to yourself, dude, I've done this thousands of times. All I need to go is go execute the way my training has prepared me for. And I've earned that confidence to know I could do it. Now just go out there and go execute and reach my potential. That's it. And you know, these are skills that are easier to talk about than to execute on. I understand that. There's probably people listening like, yeah, dude, what you're saying sounds good. But you have to start somewhere, right? You have to start with basic fundamentals of mindset and then eventually start building up on that, you know?
And that's where the accountability of a coach, and obviously like that's a great unintentional plug for our services, but it's like the accountability of, like, even if you have a group around you, like
Yep.
even if you have like a set of people around you, like, hey, what did you do today? Like, what are your intentions today? What are you going to do to win the day? And then how did you win the day? If you create that kind of circle of just reinforcing that, that's enough to bring you forward.